So I'm having a bit of an issue with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I can't stop sharding. I'm obsessed with getting every single bug shard I possibly can because it's the only way to complete my goal of converting every single Pokemon in the Paldean Pokedex into a bug Terra type. And I've been pretty much sharding non-stop every day for months. Every day at midnight, I check my map for bug raids. I've gone on live streams to beg for bug raids from other people. I've done so many bug raids, I recently maxed out the counter for my bug Terra shards. I bet most of you didn't even know that this does max out at 999. But this is kind of a big problem, all right? This could majorly constipate my progress, because if I want to continue shard farming efficiently, I'm gonna have to be dumping shards as I go, which that's not too hard, right? Just keep track of your shards, you know, after each one, make sure you're checking in there, making sure things aren't overflowing, you don't want to hit the cap, but no, it's unfortunately not that simple. In fact, I even found a bug where it'll still tell you you're getting shard drops, even though you physically can't fit anymore in your inventory. I doubt this will be a problem for most people, but yeah, you can see here, I did the same raid with 2 switches, and usually everybody gets the same drops, right? Well, you can see that the shard count is different, and I've noticed no matter how many shards you get, if you're at max, it'll always just list 1. So if you're one of the few people out there that notices, why am I only getting 1 shard per drop? You've probably maxed out that shard. And if you think that's going to be the end of extremely niche information that's only useful to a very small amount of people, I'm just gonna warn you right now, I'm about to go into even greater detail about my sharding technique, because like I said, this living bug dex is not just a straightforward problem that I can solve by just blindly grinding. I can legitimately mess this up and make it take way longer than it needs to, but I've put the thought in. I've done the math, I have a strategy, and maybe this will help the one other person on Earth that might be also doing a living Terra type dex of some kind. So here we go. There are 2 ways for me to add a new entry to my bug dex. The first is the obvious one. You spend 50 bug shards, I can turn any Pokemon into a bug, right? But if I had to do the whole Pokedex with that method, that would cost me 20,000 shards. And it took me maybe 2 months to even get 1,000 shards. And as crazy as I am, I don't even think I'm that crazy. I would have given up a long time ago. So thankfully there's the other method, which is just catching bugs for free from raids. I've already caught half the Pokedex just through raids without spending a single shard. But that's the scary part, spending the shards. Again, seems like a simple problem, just spend the shards on Pokemon that you cannot get in raids. Well, the problem is, there really aren't that many Pokemon that aren't in raids. You have the starters, the Paradox Pokemon, the legendaries, and that's like what, 30, 40 Pokemon? Like, it's not gonna take long for me to run out of those safe investments, maybe 1,500 shards or so, and then I'm gonna be forced to invest in some of the riskier assets. All those Pokemon that already exist in the raid pool that I could possibly catch at a later point down the road. And if I get a duplicate, that's 50 shards just down the toilet. But I do have one trick up my sleeve to give myself a little bit of insurance, because it turns out some of the most rare Pokemon are the most common ones. This is because after you beat the game, tier 1 and tier 2 raids just disappear completely. You'll never see one ever again. And there's a pretty substantial portion of the early Pokedex that's only available in those raids. So while that sucks because I've already beaten the game, and it's very unlikely that new trainers are going to be sharing those raids or asking for help because they're super easy, no one's going to be posting those in the raid search thing. And the raid searches feel like a waste of time anyway because they're so glitchy. I'm lucky if I can get even like 2 raids an hour from this. Like, people don't do the bugs. So yes, very tragic, but what it does mean, the silver lining here, is that there's like 60 to 70 Pokemon in those raid pools that are now pretty safe investments, because I'm not going to encounter them any other way. So that's pretty much it. I'm just praying I'm going to finish most of the bugs that I can catch before I run out of things to spend my shards on safely. Otherwise, we're going to be wasting shards and feeling some pain. Again, it took me like 2 months just to get 1,000 shards. To get even 50 shards takes maybe like 2-3 hours. But at the end of the day, I chose this goal because it would be a challenge. I wanted a challenge, so I'll just have to accept the fact that sometimes sharding hurts. But maybe not as much as the bug lock hurt on an emotional level. That was rough. I finished that recently. I'll probably post a recap of some kind at some point. But I did live stream the entire thing, and that's all archived on my channel if you're curious in the meantime. So that really just leaves this living bug dex as the last thing I need to finish in Scarlet and Violet before I'm ready to say goodbye to the game. And it's possible I might do some shiny hunting. If I see outbreaks for certain bugs, I'm gonna do them. You know, you could make a pretty good argument that my bug dex really isn't complete until all the bugs are also shiny. That's fair, but I gotta be honest, shiny hunting in this game is just a little bit too easy. And the whole reason I like bugs and I picked them in the first place is for the challenge, so we'll see. Oh, and we can't forget about the DLC. I mean, they're not teasing this whole continent up here for nothing. Like, that is coming, and I'm excited, but I'm also dreading it. Because if you remember with Sword and Shield's DLC, they expanded the Pokedex by like 200 Pokemon when that dropped. So while I'm very excited to see where the story goes and maybe get some new legendaries, etc., I'm also aware that it's going to mean my Living Bug Dex, even if I finish it now, is not actually going to be fully complete for a while. So I'll keep you posted kind of as I go. And if you do see me live, I would appreciate bug raids. Please send the bugs. Give me the bugs.